All right, here I am today with a great group of individuals who spearheaded something very phenomenal. That's a doorbell going off, but that's okay. But who spearheaded something that is much needed in our community, and they're going to bless us with some great news. But I would like Miss Tina Foxx to give us a little information to what's going on. So I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but Tina, if you don't mind, if you can kind of give us some insight to what the good news is about.
All right. Hello, I'm Tina Foxx Wallace. I am the chairperson for the Essie Kiser Foxx Charter School Board, and it is my privilege to announce that on April the 11th, our board went to the State Advisory Board to get final approval for the Essie Kiser Foxx Charter School. With that being said, our application was approved to move to the state for a final charter, which will begin on August the 27th, 2018. We will open the doors of the Essie Kiser Foxx Charter School in the town of East Spencer, North Carolina.
Wow, that's unbelievable, man. I know that if Miss Fox was here, she would probably be doing cartwheels down her street. But you know, it's great to see some of the fruits that have been birthed from some of her work. And I just, you know, I'm just lost for words, man. I never thought that this would actually, you know, come to fruition, but today it makes me feel good that you guys forged the way and didn't take no for an answer. So what else? Give me some more info, Tina. What else is going on?
Well, I'd just like to add that last summer the charter school board approached our family and asked if they would be allowed to use my mom's name for the charter school, and of course that was such an humbling request. And I'd like to just also say that if you knew my mom, you knew that anything that she set her mind to, there were going to be positive results on the other end. And so I feel like once the school took on her name and took on the legacy that she left here, that it would be a success, because that was her. Everything she did, she prayed and she asked for success. And so I contribute her spirit and her sense of endurance to the success that we have gained so far with the charter school. I have no doubt that it will be a major success. It'll be an asset to the East Spencer community, not only the East Spencer community, but to the Roy and Salisbury community. We are committed to producing students who will be leaders of not just this community, but the entire state of North Carolina and then further. So again, we are extremely proud of where we are at this point. We are at the beginning, and we have a long way to go. But again, have no doubt that we'll get there and there will be success throughout that process. So at this time, I want to also introduce another board member, Whitney Peckman, who is here with us. I'd like for Whitney to share a little information about the inception of the charter school, and that Whitney is one of the group of people who started the process, the application process, put in a lot of hard work, endless hours, day, night, working hard to get us to where we are now. And so I would like to just ask Whitney to speak a little bit about that process and how we got to where we are at this point.
Wow. Whitney, it's always great to be in your facility. You know, as I look around, I can tell that you are a nut for the arts. I know you travel the country far and wide, and but you know, for you to dedicate your time to this project not only means a lot to the Fox family, but the community as well. So, Ms. Whitney, just give me some information or some introspect on about the charter.
Well, we started the process almost 2 years ago, as a result of a conversation or many conversations with Kenny Muhammad about his vision for East Spencer. And as the group of us had that conversation, we felt that we had the skills to bring to it that that meant a school, to have a school back in East Spencer would be a good starting point for developing a hub for East Spencer. We learned a lot about the history of the schools in East Spencer and talked with a lot of people. And it really became something that energized us and gave us a passion to get a school for East Spencer. But of course it will be open to anybody who would want to come from around the county. But we're excited that it's going to happen in East Spencer. So that's how it began. We went through the beginning of the application process for that first year, and it was a steep learning curve. And as most people know, we did not get the charter awarded to us the first time, but came right home after that day and said, okay, we'll take today off, tomorrow we'll start again. And that's what we did. So we had some board members changed, and that was fine, and we brought on a different group of people. Nan Lund, Dr. Lund, and I are the only two board members that have spanned both applications. The big difference, I think, with finishing this current application was the addition of Jess Knight Miller, who came on board as a consultant to us through Torchlight Academy Services, which is the management company for the charter school. And when Jess came on board, it was a whole new application learning curve. She knows so much about charter schools and so much about that process that she was able to delegate areas for us each to fit into where we could work most effectively during the process. So having said all of that, we went through the process, and we were hugely excited last week when we got the notification and they said we passed you on through to the last little section of it at the state level, and said that now we're basically officially in our planning year, which of the planning year is a little bit more than a year. It'll be about 15 months, and during that time we have a lot of work to do, and I hope everybody will go to the Essie May Kiser Foxx Charter School support page on Facebook and join the page, like it, share it, tell people about it, and ask us whatever questions you want to ask us. And you know, we'll answer them to the best of our ability. If we don't know the answer, we'll get the answer. So that's about the process. I think the exciting part for us is, it's all exciting, but the education plan is hugely exciting because it infuses the arts into the teaching of the core subjects. Oftentimes kids have a difficult time in school because they are not linear thinkers. They have learned to think and to process information differently. And if they are not allowed the space in which to exercise that kind of learning, that type of learning, they have a difficult time, and then they lose interest in school. They lose interest in learning. So we hope to be able to bring enough new energy into that through bringing the arts into the core subjects that they will be really excited about. And maybe in the beginning they won't even know they're learning this boring stuff that they thought was so awful before. So it's going to be a good experiment. And then adding into that the Spanish, that they will begin Spanish in kindergarten. And then by the time we've added the grades up and we have the full component of grades K through 8, the 8th graders will be able to go into high school with as much as 3 high school credits already under their belt. So if they apply themselves, they're going to go into 9th grade with a jump start that's really significant. So that's about it. I could talk for a long time about the education plan.
Hey, that's absolutely awesome. You know, I guess one question that I have for either, I know, and you guys on the film, you can't see my brother Kiser Foxx is to the left of me, which I'm sure he'll insert himself here in just a second. But the one question that we get, and it may be a question at Brother Muhammad, is that we always get, and I hear all the time, and I know you guys do too, is that, well, why are we segregating? Why do we seem like that we're segregating kids, and we've been through that Jim Crow movement? And you know, my response is probably like the response that you guys would give them. But you know, I would much rather someone from the board or at this table address that as well.
Let me address it because it could be a political issue for the board members. Since I'm not a part of the board and a part of the community, I can address it. One of the reasons is we have given our children to the public school system in America for a number of years. And, you know, just the focus on local, because the only politics are local politics. You've got a school system here that's failing everybody. All the children are failing. So it doesn't make sense when you see the mood of the country and the mood of the county to keep our children in a system that just simply cannot educate our children. They cannot bring out the gifts and attributes that our children have, and that's all by design. In the earlier conversation, we talked about the Common Core, which focuses on how well the student tests, not on bringing out the gifts, which is the real way to educate. Education means to bring out what is within, and the school system is not doing that. They're not attempting to do that.
And my rebuttal to those guys when they always speak about that, because I'm for charter. I've stated it publicly on numerous occasions that I'm for charter and private schools, just due to the fact that you can actually create, in some retrospect, your own curriculum, and you can kind of line what the children are learning to a base from their communities. Schools and communities are very productive. Whitney, I have to agree with Whitney in terms of that the arts pays dividends when a kid is immersed in that type of educational environment. It's been proven. And so I don't know why people want to dispel the fact that kids often learn quicker, faster, and they have a much more of a foundation when they immersed into a charter/private school. So, but I appreciate it, brother. Also, things aren't free. And so we all know that things cost money. So, you know, I think the question that, you know, some probably want to know that are benefactors, how can we help? So from a financial standpoint, how can benefactors, people of the community, people that want to get involved, how can they help monetarily? Who would that?
Well, you're definitely right. It does take money to be able to operate any entity. So we will be seeking support resources from people throughout the community who are willing to make contributions for the overall operation of the school. Of course, our program will be receiving federal dollars as does the public school system for our enrollment. But outside of that, we will be hoping and looking for folks to come out of the woodworks to support this school through various resources. We'll be looking for financial contributions. We'll be looking for people who will be able to offer just information, in-kind donations, any information that you have regarding an area of expertise. There will be opportunities for volunteers to come in to enlighten our students on social issues, different educational issues, just a variety of ways that we're looking to be able to, for our students to benefit from the community. We are a community school. Essie Mae was a community person, and her school will be a community school. We will be looking for folks to come in and impart any knowledge that will benefit the students that we'll serve. So again, Whitney referred to the Essie Mae Kiser Foxx page on Facebook. We will also be establishing an email. I believe we do have an email, but we'll be getting some information out to where you can make contact with the board members to be able to offer any support that you would like to offer. At this particular time, again, the Essie Mae Kiser Foxx page on Facebook, and then our email address will be announced at a later date. So please make efforts to contact us if you have ideas, suggestions. We'll be soliciting the community for all types of input, suggestions on what you think might work well for students that's not working at this particular time. So again, just we're hoping that people will flood us with information, will flood us with support, so that this school will be as successful as it's already been ordained to be.
Wow. And Ms., I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I just wanted to add something about your question about the segregated, the issue of people looking at it as a segregated school.
Right.
So a couple of things. First of all, our school, and it's in the application, it will be in the charter. Our school is open to anyone, any child whose parents want to apply for that school. So there is no, this is not a concerted effort to turn this into a black school or in any way isolate anybody. That's one thing. The second thing is that the charter school is a free public school, but it is a school of choice. Okay, parents have choices now about where they can send their children to school. So if you think about that as a parent, if you're a parent out there and you're wondering, why should I don't know anything about charter schools, why should I do this? You should at least think about your choice, because essentially what you hold in your hand is about $8,000 for each child that you have. And that $8,000 represents the money that you give through our taxes, your taxes. That's the money that you give to the school that you choose for your child. So if you just get up in the morning and you're just going to send the kids off to whatever is the closest school they can get to, or just the public school, because you think you don't have a choice, you do. So investigate your school, talk to your charter school, talk to your public schools, and think about the programs and see where you want to send your children. And the only other last thing is that it's also important to note that we are responsible as the charter school for end of grade tests, just exactly like the public school system. So the children who come to the Essie school will be getting all of the core curriculum and all of the required courses. They're just going to get it delivered to them with more latitude. But they have to test out at the end of, starting in the third grade, just like every other student.
Wow, that's great information, Whitney. I appreciate it. And also, just to add to that, I think a lot of times folk are afraid of competition, and what I mean by that is, if you're the only show in town, you have a monopoly, and when you have a monopoly, you can do, what you want to do when you want to do it. But the thing is when when there's a new sheriff that's riding on his horse that wants to take over the town, then everyone gets afraid. But they shouldn't be afraid, because what the new sheriff that's coming in town, it creates competition. So iron sharpens iron. So, and I've actually looked at some of the data for other charter schools around the country, and when those charter schools emerge in certain areas, the public schools get better. Because what happens is the charter school comes in, the charter school takes off, like a rocket. And then what happens is some of the teachers from the public school, they matriculate over to the charter school. And so now it's a situation where you say, okay, do we want to stay in business? So we got to ante up. So both schools are successful and they can actually coexist. But I think there's a boogeyman effect with folk a lot of times that think that someone's coming to take your job.
Yeah.
And so I would hope that, the Rowan Salisbury public schools would actually get on board, because this is just an enhancer to what they're doing. Also, these things these schools can coexist and both be successful. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna swing it around to my brother Kenneth Muhammad. Mr. Muhammad, I am a stickler for financial literacy. I think that having a tight hold on being able to control your finances, understanding investments, understanding what a commodity is, understanding assets and liabilities, definitely can transcend you into a different area in life. It can be a lot easier. I know that you have a guru in terms of financial literacy beside you. So I would love to swing this camera around. If you could formally introduce this young lady, this beautiful lady.
This is Robin Whitehurst, and she's here to help us to try to put some financial strategies in place that will help the school and also help households and the community. So I'll be quiet and let Robin tell you how she does that and why that's important.
All right, Robin, I'm gonna let you filibuster this thing. I'm not gonna ask you any questions because you're the guru, and you just go for it.
Oh, we give thanks for our being here on today. I also want to congratulate the Essie School for the victory won and the continued success that is ordained, Tina, and the vision of Kenneth Foxx. I'm in as an invited guest, and I'm absolutely honored to be even at the table of this conversation. Financial literacy has to start in grade school. It must start in grade school. And one of the reasons that I say that is some of the concepts, the core concepts of financial literacy, we could have learned in the 5th grade. The rule of 72 that was formulated by Albert Einstein. They want to teach us everything about Einstein, but they never teach us about the rule of 72, and it tells you how many years it takes your money to double. Imagine having known that as a young adult. You would run from a point zero, then a number interest rate, because it would take your money more than 72 years to double. It would never double in your lifetime, and you're not going to get wealthy like that. So why do I start there? Because these core concepts are necessary in order not only to develop the mind and the attitude of financial wealth and opulence. We see rich, right? Rich is right now money, this lifetime money. Wealthy is the money that you have for this lifetime and 3 to 7 generations after you. Okay, that's when we start talking about wealth. And that is not a conversation that we're having, but in the life I should say, of many counterparts. They grow up in trust funds. They grow up understanding how money works. And it is a system of knowledge and a process that children can and must learn. So I'm excited to be able to enter a conversation at that level. And then also, we as adults, there is no one to teach us about the system of knowledge and process about how money works. We just got our information from the commercial bank on the corner or whatever the TV said. But there's no advisor coming to knock on our doors, because if you make less than $250,000 a year, they're not coming to see you. So that means they're not coming to see us. And there are laws on the books that encourage that. Encourage is a nice word to use. I got royally pissed off when I found out that if you don't make $250,000 a year or have that kind of money in discretionary income, that there are laws on the books that say there's financial information that cannot be shared with you. So by design, we're financially illiterate. So my goal, my mission, and the mission of the team that we're building in the local area, and to support this effort with the Essie School, is to make sure that we help families rise financially. And our mission is no family left behind. So where better to start than in a school system, right, with a charter school? Now, the second part to this is, Tina made a wonderful plea for support and information. We need money, okay? And that is and sometimes and I'm not saying the sister's scared to say the word, but sometimes in our consciousness, we don't talk about it, okay? It's like the boogeyman effect, right? And I call it the plantation ghost, because we weren't taught anything about it. We think that it's the root of all evil, but every day everybody gets up and goes to work to try to get it. So there's something wrong with that picture there. The school needs money. The school needs your support. Now, what happens with that is, by design, some of what we're going to bring to solutions to create action to turn the money that comes in into wealth. So that it doesn't all get spent over here every year for everything that the students need, but we learn how to create safe money. That means money that's not invested in the market, money that cannot lose, money that changes the financial status of the school and it can still be charter, but it can be a whole lot private. Because now when you can grow your own money, when you have the resources, the information, the knowledge, there's not a money gap, there's a knowledge gap. And when you have the knowledge and the solutions to put them into practice to make it happen, because you can have a random financial literacy conversation all day till we blue in the face, and that has not helped us. Okay? It's time to put the plans, the solutions into action where the wealthy do, where they do not lose money. So what is Warren Buffett's famous 2 rules to money, right? Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, see rule number 1, okay? But what's missing in that equation is, well, how do you do that? So we know how to do that. And we're going to share it with the student, the teachers, the staff, the community at large, and mostly we're going to use it to grow the funds to support the Essie Charter School. So I don't know if I left anything out. I'm very passionate about how we do this, and I will say, as a people, we have marched and sat in and did lunch counters and got hosed and bit by dogs and done all of that, and no focus have been given to a solution, not a conversation, a solution to move us from poverty to wealth as a people. So with that, we're here for that mission.
Wow, sister, and you're absolutely 100% right in your assessment. Um, and I was just talking to a friend this morning about the same thing in terms of forums, sit-ins, and things of that nature. And then at the end of the day, in the final analysis, we are still at the bottom of the food chain. And I like the concept of how you will infuse, the financial literacy piece into the curriculum for the SMA Fox School. Because I was 37 years old when I understood what a commodity was. I was 38 years old when I understood what compound and exponential growth meant. And we've got a lot of brothers and sisters out here that don't understand liabilities and assets. And so when you can put your bank account on your car, then that lets you know where we are in terms of financial literacy. So I'm glad that you spoke to those points, and you spoke without hesitation, because I agree with you 100%. I think a lot of times, a lot of us have relationships with folk, but we're not able to leverage the relationship into a monetary value. Not using anyone, but you shouldn't be able to brag that you know Ralph Kettner if Ralph Kettner can't cut you a check when he knows what your mission is. You know what I mean? That's the example that I use, and Ralph Kettner, rest in peace. But that was, the only example that I had at the tip of my tongue. But if he's truly into what I'm into, and he has the resources to help me with what I'm trying to do, and he knows that it's a worthy cause, it shouldn't be an issue.
Right. And I could add one thing. I talked to Jess at the breakfast, and she said that the financial literacy piece was already in the program. So I don't want to take any credit for having been the brainchild of this for the Essie school. They are forward thinking. They are on a path of success, and they're going to meet with that success. And I'm here, as I said, as an invited guest with a team of people. It's not just me, with a team of people who know how to get this done. Right. So, the rule of 72 is the eighth wonder of the world. That boggles my mind, and you don't teach that in school?
Right.
Right? You say you were 38. I was almost 60 years old by the time I got the information. Okay, so, and a lot of our people have gone from cradle to the grave. None of the information shared, and that's by design. So we get to create a new model of reality for ourselves and put new. What I'm really excited about the Essie School is that it is not only a new model of reality for us, but it gives us a new system for living in regard to education.
Wow, sister, I really appreciate that. And I know, like you said, you're not the curator of the financial literacy piece, but we can't hear it enough. You know what I mean? That definitely needs to be in the lyrics of every hip hop song, something about financial literacy to some degree, because we're missing it. We are missing it. And just hopefully that, eventually before we leave this earth, that we can find it.
We have it. It's not lost. It's not lost. So we need to keep having the conversation.
Right.
And urge people to take action. And we're licensed professionals. I think I should say that, huh? We're licensed professionals. This is not just a conversation I'm having. I've been licensed since 1998, and we have a whole team that knows everything from the rule of 72, compound interest, all of that, to stocks, money markets, commodities, all of the Series 6, 7 registered license and financial advisors. So we come in with it. We're
right.
coming strong. So we're not here to play games.
Wow, that's absolutely awesome. Brother Muhammad, I'm going to swing it over to you, and I'm going to ask you to, after I get that light out of your face, brother, I know it's a little bright, I just hyped it up. I'm going to ask you to give us some closing remarks, but I also want I want you to tell the viewers what I want you to tell the viewers what do you think that would be going through if Miss Foxx was here today? What do you think that would be going through her mind right now with the success of the application for the charter school, knowing that she bear witness to a school that was eradicated out of her community?
Let me answer that part last. But the first part, and it ties into that, is there's a movie called The Book of Eli. And Eli stands for God, it's Arabic for God. And this guy, Denzel Washington, played the part. And his job was to deliver this book to be written so that today you can go into scripture, certain scripture. You can't find it in the King James Version even today. But the Book of Eli was a book that talked about, you know, a new beginning. And as he traveled, he walked from place to place trying to get this book to a destination. And everywhere he went, there had been a nuclear war, and there was no businesses, there was no decent housing. It was just, you know, scum. The scum of the earth had kind of inherited the earth, and they all were trying to kill him so that they could capture this book. But they were unable to kill him, and they thought they had the book. So he had a book with him, of course, and they finally seized that book, but they found out later there wasn't nothing in the book. And the more to that whole movie is that he was the book himself. We are the book. We are the roadmap. There's no people on the planet that has endured what we have endured and survived it. And when you start seeing the slaves and the peons and the peasants start moving towards self-determination, that's a sign that the God is with those people in the face of great odds. All we have to do is just determine where we're trying to go. East Spencer is a neighborhood. It's been a neighborhood since the Dunbar school closed. Neighborhoods don't have schools. Neighborhoods are just places where the rich and the wicked can maneuver people and things however they want. So you go down there, you see families, and 55% of those families are 200% below the federal guideline. Our income for a female that's on Section 8 is $1,516 a month. Or extra $5,000 or extra $10,000 a year changes her reality. But you have to be able to see the bigger picture, and you have to see that in Salisbury, there's a downward spiral in terms of household income. It used to be $35,000 medium income for Salisbury and $18,400 for a family of four in East Spencer. Family of four in East Spencer was a female and 3 kids. Family of four in Salisbury was husband, wife, son, daughter. And so you see that the statistics are catching up. So that we're not losing in East Spencer, we're gaining because we're still at 18. But with the new information that the sister and the other team brings, and the school is the book. Because what it's supposed to do is bring out those gifts and those cultural talents that's lying dormant inside the children and even the parents. That's, you know, we got to start being able to look beyond the crack and beyond the winos and see what are the real cultural gifts that can contribute to a vibrant community. So we got to go from neighborhood to community, which poses a threat to the larger community, who needs us to remain a neighborhood. So in a sustainable community, you have to create your own wealth systems. And the weak and the meek among us will say it's impossible. And I say we don't have another choice except to just lie down and die, you know. But I think if my mom was here, and I know, you know, I ain't spooky, but I know my mom, and my mom will be looking at me and saying, "Negro, is you crazy?" But she'll be pulling for us, so she knows my role, and I know my role is, you know, when I got shot down as the chair, my role was to not worry about who's going to chair the board. But my role now is to get out in the community and create the mechanism and the processes to make sure that the school is successful. Because with the education, with a true education, then, you know, the socioeconomics will improve, the households will improve. And so my role now is to find people and find innovations that we can get out in front of the school and make, and, you know, make a highway so that the school can come right in and do what it's supposed to do. But I think my mom will be proud, and she'll be fighting, and she'll be saying to black people and white people, if you're not satisfied with the education that your child is getting elsewhere, then suffer those children to come into us. You know, I think that's what she would be saying.
Wow. And I know for a fact that she'd be saying a lot more. She is the general. She still holds that title.
Yes,
Rest in peace, Ms. Foxx. I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come and get you guys canvass the area and get your stories, and, you know, hopefully, well, not hopefully, I will. We'll kind of document this thing, you know, along the way, so we can give everyone a transparent ideology and a perspective of what's going on and this, that, and the other. So, but I would hope that everyone gets on board, get on the train, because once again, like the sister said, we need money. Money makes this thing go, and we would be reluctant if we didn't have everyone on board for this positive Essie Mae Foxx School. So you heard it live from the bishop.
Yes, sir.
The next conversation that we'll have at a later date, I'll get Brother Muhammad and we'll talk about the analysis of the housing impediments, and we'll break that down to you know, what's going on in Salisbury or what ain't going on in Salisbury.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Peace.